Hey, it's Danielle from Elvis Duran and the Morning Show, and it is time to get active. Now, last year at this time, I was sitting here talking to you guys about organ donation, and here I am again. And I'm excited to say that I have signed up for organ donation, and it's very easy. I did it actually when I went and got my driver's license, and they just sent me the renewal in the mail. I said, yes, I would like to be an organ donor, and that's how easy it is. You too can sign up to be an organ donor, and you're going to learn all about it today on the show, because you're going to see and talk to one of the people that has been saved from an organ donation. And you can also learn things like one organ can save up to 8 lives. The same donor can also save or improve the lives of up to 50 people by donating tissues and eyes, and so many other things. I mean, if something unfortunate happens to you or someone in your family, wouldn't you love to give the gift to somebody else so that they can keep on living if they really need it, if they need your eyes or they need an organ? And right now I have Acacia with us, who is so beautiful. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And she would not be here today if it wasn't for the organ donation plan, the organ donation system. And her mom is here with us, Haley. Hi, Haley.
Hello.
So she's going to tell us all about how important donating your organs is. And JP, who was here with us last year.
Hello.
He's here again. And tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from Live On, New York, and we facilitate organ donation for New Yorkers.
Very cool. LongLiveNY.org. That's the website you're going to hear me talk about a lot today. LongLiveNY.org. That's where you are going to go and learn all about organ donation. Especially after you hear Acacia's story, you're going to say, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I can't believe this. And you're just going to want to go and sign up. So let's talk to Mom first, Haley. So, Mom, your baby is born, and right away you found out that this was something that she was going to need. So tell us about it.
I did. It was a perfect pregnancy, worked up till the day before I gave birth. I had an emergency C-section for unrelated. And when she came out, beautiful pink baby, she was throw up. So they said, we think she has a little blockage in her intestines. So they took her into surgery and ended up removing 98%.
Wow.
Of her intestines. And then they put in lines in her heart to give her fake fats and vitamins to keep her alive. But we were just in a whirlwind. I had no idea what this meant, what the end goal would be. And by 4 months, they had said, you might want to just she'll never eat. And the stuff that we're pumping into her is going to cause end-stage liver disease, which would be painful and horrible and all that stuff. So my husband quickly looked up, Googled, and found out 20 blocks north, they were doing this intestinal transplant.
Wow.
So we transferred. Yep, and then we ended up 4 months later having to leave because they closed that program and moved to Pittsburgh, where a couple of months later, Acacia received a small bowel, liver, pancreas transplant from total strangers. Total strangers.
So you've never met them? Never met the family?
No.
Wow.
And if they had not signed up to do that, it just changed the whole trajectory of our lives.
Right. She wouldn't be here right now.
No.
And sitting here right now, I mean, how do you feel?
Amazing. It's incredible, that someone could possibly do that. I don't even know these people. They're such heroes to me.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, how long did you have to wait long? Was there a waiting? Because I know a lot of people are on the waiting list and it depends on the importance.
Yep.
So how long was the waiting list?
At 13 months, they said, you're just going to have to let her go. Nothing worked except her heart. Plasmapheresis, dialysis, the vent, everything. And just bizarrely, when they said, tell the family to say goodbye.
Oh, my goodness.
And then they got the organs and the rest is history.
So if it wasn't,
now I have a teenager.
That's crazy. Which, is a little crazy. Teenage girl, no. But if it wasn't for those wonderful people giving you the gift of life, you would not be here right now. It's just such an incredible thing. And I'm hearing that organ donation in New York, the sign-up was up last year in 2015. Am I right?
Yes. Unfortunately, we have a challenge in New York, and that is that not enough New Yorkers are registered as organ donors. Only 28% of New Yorkers are registered, and the national average is well above 50%. That's the bad news.
Right.
And relatedly, because of that, every 18 hours a New Yorker dies waiting for an organ transplant.
Wow.
And as you can imagine, that's an unnecessary death. We're hearing about that here with Acacia, the power of organ donation. But the good news is that we've got some momentum. We're moving in the right direction. We saw enrollments go up last year. We're having another good year this year. But we have a lot of work to do, and we're going to continue to fight the fight and get people registered. And we know that New Yorkers support organ donation. In fact, there was a study that said that 92% of New Yorkers support organ donation. But as I said, just 28% are registered. So this is about motivating people to take that step.
Yeah.
Having it in your heart is one thing, but putting it down on paper is a complete different scenario, and that's the scenario that we're pushing for.
I'll tell you, when I was online getting my driver's license, I hadn't even thought about it. And I talked about this last year when we did this interview. And there was a couple people ahead of me in line, and I remember the lady saying, "Hey, you want to be an organ donor?" to this guy at the window. And I sat there for a minute, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to ask me that same question. What's my answer going to be? And then I thought, well, what if something happens one day, but I can save 5 other people with things that are still working? Where I can give a child the gift of life that would not have had it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to say yes. And just like that, that's how easy my decision was. And I know for a lot of people, it's not as easy. And I know a lot of people worry, like, what happens now with burying my loved one? If you're going to take the organs, are they going to look different? Is it going to be an operation? Like, what's the difference? So what do you tell people that feel that way?
Yeah, we tell people that as it relates specifically to that you can still be buried as you would if you had not been an organ donor. But the beautiful thing is that you can and your family can bury you with the knowledge that you've helped to save lives.
Right.
So you take probably, in many cases, beautiful, powerful legacies, and you make them that much stronger by a parting gift being the saving of lives and the improving of lives through organ and tissue donation. It's really, I mean, when you step back and think about it, it's incredibly remarkable what organ and tissue donation can do. So we encourage people to think about the positive.
Yeah.
And that's how we answer that question.
And you'd want somebody to do it for you. I mean, that's really how you have to think about it.
And I think what I've always, now having post-Acacia, you don't realize how important it is, or how it's not on a lot of people's radar screens until it's your brother, your mother, your sister. And then it becomes really important.
Right.
So that's why we're out here trying to help encourage people.
And when you go, honestly, you don't need them. You don't got to take them with you. You might as well leave something for somebody else that can help them. longliveny.org, longliveny.org. That's where we want you to go and learn all about it. Look, maybe you're skeptical. Maybe you don't know if this is something for you. And we understand that, of course. But you're going to get all your information there. You're going to read some of the remarkable stories. I mean, I got to see pictures of Acacia when she was a tiny little baby and you know, what she looks like now. So it is amazing what organ donation can do. So as a mom, when you find out that your child needs this, what is going through your head?
It was devastating. I think more than anything, I didn't know what to think.
Right.
I just had no clue, especially given that there was no indication that anything was wrong. So yeah, it's kind of reeling and trying to get your feet on the ground and just one step in front of the other and just keep plowing on.
Right. Now that you've had the transplant, are you living a normal life? Are you able to hang out with your friends and play ball? Well, I don't know if you play ball, but go dance, you know.
Yeah, totally. Like, I do cross country, I do ski team.
Wow.
I did swimming, I did dancing, I did plays. I go to high school, which is amazing. I'm sure my parents thought not in a million years when they had me that I would be going to high school.
Right.
It's truly amazing. Like, I am like totally normal kid.
That's amazing. Now let's talk about organ donor enrollment day. Let's talk, JP. We'll give that to you. You talk to us about that.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it. We're here today to tell the story of organ donation, but also talk about Organ Donor Enrollment Day. As I mentioned, 92% of New Yorkers support organ donation. Just 28% are registered. So Organ Donor Enrollment Day is really a day designed to inspire people to take that step, to give them as many opportunities as possible to do so. So, for example, they can register online at longliveny.org on that day.
Right.
But we're also, thanks to our partnership with Z100, going to be out and about on the streets, encouraging people to think about it, consider it, and hopefully on that day enroll. So the idea here really is just to get people talking about it, get the buzz up, and inspire action.
Yes. And I think, didn't we have Greg T last year out on the street? What is he dressed? He was dressed as an organ.
He was dressed as a heart. He looked fantastic.
He was dressed as a heart.
Yes.
He's so cute. I think he's going to be out there again with me this year, actually. But I don't think he's going to be dressed as anything, right? And I think this is all happening October 6th.
That's right.
So if you don't know the date, it is happening October 6th. And you're going to find us all over the place. And if you need more information, if you go to longliveny.org, you'll find all the information that you need there, where we're going to be. Maybe you have questions. Maybe you need to see people in person. You know, maybe you need to meet somebody like Acacia and sit down with her and talk to her and find out, wow, you know what, this really is something that's a positive and that can help other people.
Yeah, there are going to be hundreds of us, of New Yorkers close to the cause or who've been directly touched by donation, out and about, hitting the streets, wearing bright orange T-shirts, so you can find us.
Yeah.
And so if you want to talk about organ donation, you have questions, we're there to help you consider it. We're not there to sell anybody on the cause, but instead provide the opportunity to talk about it and provide the opportunity to register.
So Greg T is actually going to be Union Square Park, the North Plaza, from 12 to 2 on the 6th. And then I'm going to be New York City campus, One Pace Plaza Central, the main entrance. And I'm going to be there as well from 12 to 2. And like we said, there's going to be lots of people answering questions. If you have concerns, if you want to sign up right then and there, we're going to give you the opportunity to do that. So come on and see us and learn all about it. And again, the website is longliveny.org, longliveny.org. Now, I was looking at some of the statistics, and I cannot believe that one organ can actually save up to 8 lives. How is that possible?
It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I work in this field, and every day I pause and I kind of absorb the power of donation.
Yeah.
One organ alone would be incredible, but 8 is remarkable.
Yeah.
And in fact, I didn't mention this earlier when we were talking about Organ Donor Enrollment Day. Last year was our first donor enrollment day. And on that day, we had 3,100 New Yorkers register as organ donors.
That's amazing.
That was the most ever in the U.S. in one day, which was fantastic.
Wow.
But if you go back to your point, which is that one organ donor alone can save up to 8 lives,
Yeah.
then those 3,100 people someday could save 24,000 people.
Wow.
So the power of donation, just, you know, when you look at it with one person is remarkable. But if you spread it amongst many, you know, the impact is amazing. And
Yeah.
so the hope here is that we beat that record. We're out to beat it and beat it by a lot. Everybody that signs up is helping provide hope for those who are waiting for a donor.
And then the same donor can also save or improve the lives of up to 50 people by donating tissues and eyes. I mean, that's crazy.
It is. It's remarkable.
What medicine can do nowadays is just incredible.
It hasn't even been that long that organ donation has been with us. I think the first kidney, I can't remember the exact year, was somewhere in the late 1950s.
Yeah.
So organ donation hasn't really even been around that many years. But over that time, they've been able to expand it to cover other organs and tissue. And the impact is remarkable. And the likelihood is that if you look around, it's one of those 6 degrees of separations thing. You probably know somebody who's been touched by donation.
Right. Well, it says here, on average, 18 people die every day while waiting for organ transplants in the U.S. Every 10 minutes, another name is added to the waiting list. And in New York State, somebody dies every 18 hours waiting for an organ transplant. I actually knew somebody who used to take the organs when they got the call, and he would bring them over to the hospital. And he was always in such a hurry to make sure everything was perfect and to get it over there on time, because he said it's such a timing thing,
yes,
to make sure you get it there. And I think, is it that certain organs can only be out of the body for a certain amount of time?
Yes, all the organs have a limited amount of time that they can be out of the body, some a little bit longer than others.
Yeah.
So it's quite an operation and to make organ donation happen.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky to work with many people who make it happen.
Wow.
In addition to the beautiful gift that the donor has given, you've got nurses, doctors, and others who help make donation happen. And then, by the way, it's important to note that my organization, Live On New York, also provides support services for the families of donors. It's a difficult thing obviously to see somebody pass, and we're there to help. So even if the individual turns out that they choose not to donate, we still provide services to those families, guidance around donation, and guidance around grieving.
Right. And now, in Acacia's case, I know that you never met the person, right, that donated. But you can, right? Can you connect with the people that, the families that made the donation?
Yeah, that's another thing that Live On New York helps to do. We provide confidential interaction between the recipient and the donor family, as long as they agree. They both have to agree
Right.
to interact with one another confidentially. And then if they agree further, they can actually take it one step further and begin to know a little bit more about one another. And actually, every once in a while it happens, and it's a great thing. A donor family can meet the recipient or recipients of their loved one's organs. And I have to say, I've been part of those meetings, and they're incredibly emotional.
Oh, I can imagine.
The hand of a family placed on the heart of the recipient of their loved one's heart. Yeah, it's quite remarkable, and again, it really brings to life the power of organ donation.
Wow. Each year, more than 1 million people need life-saving and life-improving tissues and eyes. Because sometimes you don't think of that. You think of, okay, someone needs a heart. Someone needs a liver. Someone needs whatever. But people need other things. People need eyes. What are some of the other organs that get donated?
Well, you have the heart, the lungs, the liver, pancreas, the intestines, and what am I missing? Then you've got then you move into the tissue and the eyes, and some of the stories I've read about tissue donation, which often maybe isn't as well known as organ donation, just as remarkable as organ donation. There was a story about a woman who needed tissue for her knee, and it seemed maybe a bit trivial because she wanted to get back out there skiing, but she tells a story about how important skiing was to her life, because she could share it with her family.
Right.
And so even though maybe it's not life-saving, it's certainly life-improving. And so tissue donation has tremendous impact on a variety of people for a variety of reasons. And we encourage people to consider both tissue and organ donation.
So if you're just tuning in right now, this is Danielle from Elvis Duran Show. LongLiveNY.org. That is what we're talking about. We're talking about Organ Donation Day, which is happening on October 6th. And Greg T and I are going to be out there helping get the word out there. And so if you have friends that are going to be in the area who maybe don't know whether or not this is something that they want to partake in, they don't want to sign up and be an organ donor, maybe we can change their minds. Maybe listening to us right now, hearing Acacia's story, hearing Acacia's mom, you can change somebody's mind. Or maybe just coming to meet us in Union Square Park. That's where Greg T will be from 12 to 2 on 10/6, October 6th. And I will be at the New York City campus, One Pace Plaza Central, from 12 to 2 on October 6th as well. And I know I am an organ donor. I have signed up to be one, and hoping that you'll come meet me that day and that you'll sign up as well, because what you're doing is great. So if you haven't met Acacia yet, because you're just tuning in, we want you to hear her story. So this is her mom. Her mom is Haley. And Haley, tell us again how it all started.
Acacia was a perfect pregnancy, and she was born, and they realized that she was not she was swallowing and throwing up. They did a surgery thinking it was a little blockage, and it turned out it was malrotation, and she lost 98% of her intestines day one. They placed lines in her heart to feed her, and about 4 months later, they said, she's not gonna make it. Like, she can't eat. There's nowhere for food to go.
Right.
So they said you can either pull the plug, we'll make her comfortable, or she can continue doing what we're doing, pumping this toxic stuff in, which would lead to end-stage liver disease, a very slow, painful death. So my husband Googled it. We found out 20 blocks north, there was a hospital doing this kind of quasi-experimental transplant at the time. We transferred her care. They shut down. We moved to Pittsburgh, and Acacia received a small bowel, liver, pancreas transplant.
Wow. What is it like the day you get that phone call?
Overwhelming.
I can't even imagine. Well, wait, you tell me the story of what happened that day. Weren't you pregnant?
Yes. When I flew to Pittsburgh, I was 7 months pregnant. And we were living in Ronald McDonald House. I'd never been to Pittsburgh before. It was, it was a little overwhelming. Then she ended up just crashing. She's on the vent. Nothing's working but her heart. I ran literally across the street to McGee Women's Hospital, had my son August 27th, came back. They said, call in the families. She's not going to make it. And there, by the grace of God, September 12th, or as Paul would say, 13th, she received her organs.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'll tell you quickly, something that I found so moving is a couple of years ago, we went to a holiday party for transplant recipients. And we're in this huge room. And the man that's speaking stands up and he said, everyone that's received a life-saving organ, please stand. And the caregiver sat down. And of a room of 200, there were 5 of us sitting down. And I thought, that's pretty stunning that none of these people would be here if not for organ donation.
Yeah. That's amazing. These are the reasons why it's important. LongLiveNY.org. LongLiveNY.org. And as Acacia will tell you, she's, 14?
Yeah.
14, beautiful girl. She runs. And what else you live like a normal 14-year-old would.
Yeah. I ski. I go to high school. I eat candy 24/7.
That's a different show, and that's not good. But you're living life and you're loving life.
Yes, definitely.
And mom and dad forget about it, over
Ecstatic.
the moon. Dad is quiet in the corner and doesn't want to say anything, but mom is very...
I have no problem.
But mom's got no problem. So longliveny.org. Please go there today and learn all about organ donation. It's all going down. Organ Donation Day is on October 6th. We want to meet you. I want to meet you. Greg T and I want to meet you. We're going to be out and about talking about it. One organ can save up to 8 lives. The same donor can also save or improve the lives of up to 50 people by donating tissues and eyes. And JP, you were saying before that even though organ donation enrollment was up in New York in 2015, we can do better.
Yeah, we can, and we really have to, because, again, every 18 hours a New Yorker dies waiting for an organ transplant. And until that statistic changes and we completely eliminate it, then our work is not done. So our push here is to get people to take action.
Right.
We know, again, that New Yorkers have it in their hearts that they support organ donation. And we know that New Yorkers in general, when people are in need, step up to help other New Yorkers.
Yep.
Well, we're asking New Yorkers to do that here. It may not be, it may not feel like you're rushing to the scene of an emergency, but in fact you are. Register. Take an ordinary day, which is October 6th, a Thursday, and make it an extraordinary day by signing up and then walking away knowing that you could someday be a lifesaver.
Yep. And I still, when I looked at this, I was looking up the statistics. I still cannot believe that on average, 18 people die every day while waiting for organ transplants. In the U.S., every 10 minutes, another name is added to the waiting list. Every 10 minutes.
That's right. 120,000 people are waiting for an organ transplant in the U.S. Almost 10% of them are here in New York.
Wow.
Right? So one state alone, New York, has almost 10% of the wait list. So 10,000 people, over 10,000 people here in New York are waiting for an organ transplant. And part of the reason for that is because New Yorkers are not taking that step to register. If they took that step to register, more lives would be saved,
Yep.
Fewer people would be on the wait list, and ultimately fewer people would be dying waiting for an organ transplant.
You can make the difference. It's longliveny.org. 27% of New Yorkers age 18 and over have enrolled in the New York State Donate Life Registry as organ, tissue, and eye donors. Nationwide, though, the average is 50%, as
Yep.
you were saying.
Yeah.
So New Yorkers, we need to step up.
Yeah, no, this is like you could take it personally. If you're a New Yorker that has New York pride, you should look at this and say, I think, from my perspective, and say, wow, what a shame. This is not what New York is about. To be 50th out of 50 with regard to the percentage of people registered as organ donors in terms of states. For me, that's not what New York is about. I think all of us in this room who live in New York or hail from New York know that that's not what New York is about.
Yeah.
So we can do better, and the data says that it's there, it's in our hearts. We just have to take that step.
New York is the place where if something happens, immediately we help each other. We become nicer to each other. As hard as you can say New Yorkers are, which being from New York, I don't think we are, but as soon as something happens, we step up and we help each other. I mean, 9/11 is right there to show you. Everybody helped each other the next day. So that's what we need to do right now. It's longliveny.org, longliveny.org. What would you say to somebody who worries about cost? Like, okay, if my someone I know passes away and they want to donate it, who takes care of the cost?
That's a great question. There are no costs that the donor or the donor family are responsible for as it relates to organ donation. So that the answer to that one's a quick and easy one.
That's great. All right, so we're talking about organ donation right now. If you're not enrolled, please go to longliveny.org, or you can come out and see us. We're going to be out on the streets on October 6th. I'll be in Pace University, the New York City campus, One Pace Plaza from 12 to 2. Greg T will be hanging out in Union Square Park from 12 to 2, and we're going to tell you everything that you need to know about organ donation and Organ Donation Day. And there's going to be experts there. So if you're nervous, or if you have a lot of questions, or if maybe this is the first time you're even hearing about something like this, we're going to be there to answer your questions and to tell you, hey, this is an amazing thing that can save somebody's life one day. What am I forgetting? Like, what am I not asking you that you think needs to get out there?
Well, we talk very much about the recipient perspective on organ donation. and how impactful it is, obviously, on the life of that recipient and their loved ones. But I think one thing that gets overlooked with organ donation is the impact on the donor, the family of the donor.
Right.
I have heard time and again from families of donors how meaningful donation is to them, how it gives them a sense of peace, a sense of pride, and even a sense of joy because of the donation that their loved one, the gift that their loved one provided to others. So I think when you think about organ donation, it's natural to think of the recipient because that's the person you see.
Right.
And we shouldn't forget that. That's a fantastic and beautiful part of organ donation. But the power and the impact that it has on friends and family of the donor is quite remarkable. And so I think that's just another angle to consider when thinking about organ donation, that you're leaving a powerful legacy and the loved ones who you leave behind will celebrate you for that beautiful gift that you've left.
So it's longliveny.org. I know I've said it a lot if you've been listening to us the past half hour, but it's very important, longliveny.org. And again, in 2015, organ donor enrollment in New York, yes, it was up, but it can definitely be better.
Yeah, with regard to donation or registrants, we have seen growth. So I don't want people to think, wow, New York, this is doom and gloom. In fact, it's not.
Right.
We are 50th out of 50. But the great thing about it is I think New Yorkers are getting that sense that it's time to take action. We've seen the number of people registered in New York grow at a rate better than most other states in the country. So although the percentage of people registered here in New York is towards the bottom, as I said, 50th out of 50, our growth rate in terms of the number of people registered is actually towards the top. So
wow.
We're pulling our way up the
That's
ladder,
good.
and people are hearing the message.
We need to do better this year than we did last year on October 6th. So that's what we want to do for Enrollment Day. Okay, so before we close, Acacia, what would you like to say to somebody out there who's thinking about donating their organs? Why is it important?
I think it's such an amazing thing, and you should definitely sign up if you are not already. It's changed my life so much, and I have so many friends that have been touched by this amazing gift, and it's just amazing. I think you need to sign up.
And Haley, Mom?
Oh, it's fantastic. It changed the whole dynamic of our family.
Yeah.
To think where we were in 2002
Right.
versus where we are now.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so nice to be able to sit here and just see your smile across the way. So that's how important it is. We want you to get out there. It's longliveny.org, longliveny.org. All the information is there. Enrollment Day is October 6th. Get your name on a list. Figure out a way to sign up and be an organ donor. And I thank you so much for being with me today, everybody. Acacia and, of course, Mom, Haley, and JP, thank you for coming in every year and talking about organ donation. Again, it's Danielle Monaro from Elvis Duran and The Morning Show. And please get out there and